Are you ready to take bold action and live a life of brilliance? Welcome to the Bold and Brilliant podcast, where women leaders share inspiring stories about daring decisions that shape their businesses, their lives, and their careers. Today, I'm bringing you kind of a mini episode, a message from my own heart and my own experience, because here's the thing. Courage doesn't always have to be loud. Intrigued? Join me and welcome to the Bold and Brilliant podcast. Hey friends, welcome back to the Bold and Brilliant podcast. I'm Tracie Root, and this month inside the Gather community, we're focusing on a beautiful value that I think deserves a fresh perspective, and that value is courage. Now, when you hear the word courage, what comes to mind? Maybe you picture someone standing on a stage speaking to thousands of people, or someone making a huge announcement, taking a giant leap, or doing something dramatic and fearless. But what if courage isn't always loud? What if some of the most courageous things we can ever do are the things no one else even sees? Today, I want to talk about something I called being bold in a quiet way, because I think many women underestimate just how courageous they already are. Do we have the wrong idea about boldness? I think sometimes we confuse boldness with volume, noise. How loud and big can we be? We assume that the loudest person in the room is the boldest. We think courage means having no fear. And we believe that being bold means having a huge personality, taking enormous risks, or always being on. But that's not what I've seen. Some of the most courageous women I know are thoughtful. They're gentle. They're introverts. They're listeners. They're the women who lead with kindness and wisdom and authenticity. And they are incredibly bold. Because courage isn't about being fearless. It's about moving forward, even when fear is present. I think courage often looks very ordinary. Courage can include setting a boundary, raising your hand and asking a question, having a difficult conversation, starting a business later in life, trying something new, saying no without guilt, walking away from something that no longer fits, asking for help, and choosing yourself. These moments may never make headlines, but they matter so much. In fact, they can change the direction of your life. Sometimes courage looks like getting out of bed and trying again. And sometimes courage looks like saying, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm willing to take the next step. And I think that's incredibly bold. I think that's incredibly bold. You know, when I look back on my own life, the biggest moments weren't necessarily flashy. I left corporate like many of us did. I gave my notice and I packed up and walked out the door. There was no party. I didn't have fireworks, except for in here. Rebuilding life after loss. I've lost my mom. I lost a spouse. Many of us have had impactful losses in our lives. Starting a business, coaching business, the Gather community, launching this podcast, hosting retreats. None of these things happened because I suddenly became fearless. They happened because I took one small, courageous step after another. And many of those steps happened quietly with no spotlight, no audience, no guarantees, that's for sure. Just faith and hope and the willingness to trust that there might be something beautiful on the other side of uncertainty. Looking back now, I realized courage wasn't found in one giant leap. It was built through hundreds of smaller decisions. I think this is especially important for women who are naturally quieter. You don't have to become louder to become more bold. You don't have to change your personality. You don't have to be the life of the party. You don't have to force yourself into someone else's version of leadership. Because the world needs thoughtful leaders, compassionate leaders, encouraging leaders, steady leaders, women who create connection, who listen deeply, who bring people together. There's tremendous power in that. And sometimes the quietest voice in the room is the one who changes everything. One thing I've seen over and over again is that courage grows when we are surrounded by people who believe in us. Because let's be honest, doing hard things alone can be exhausting. But when someone says, "You've got this," when someone reminds you of who you are, when someone celebrates your wins and encourages you when things feel uncertain, suddenly that next step doesn't seem quite so scary. That's one of the reasons I believe so deeply in community, not because community removes fear, but because community reminds us that we don't have to face fear alone. Sometimes courage is borrowed from the woman to your left or right. Sometimes someone else's belief in us helps us believe in ourselves again. And that's one of the greatest gifts I think women can give each other. So as we focus on courage this month, I want to leave you with this thought. Being bold doesn't always mean being loud. Sometimes being bold means speaking up, saying no, saying yes, starting over, resting, asking for help, accepting help, trusting yourself, and taking that one next small step. Quiet courage still counts. Small courage still counts. And maybe the most courageous thing you can do today is simply believe that you don't have to become someone else to live a bold and brilliant life. You already have everything you need inside you, so you can take that next step. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you're looking for women who will encourage you, cheer for you, and remind you how capable and courageous you already are, come hang out with us in the Gather community, because courage grows when we grow together. Until next time, my friends, stay bold, stay brilliant, and remember, you don't have to be loud to be courageous. Thank you for listening to the Bold and Brilliant podcast. I'm your host, Tracie Root, and I want to invite you to check out the show notes, find out where you can connect with our guests, find out more about what I and the Gather community have to offer you, and be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform. Thanks so much.